you pretty much got ADHD, dude. I was always trying to make YouTube videos. I will get paid to be who I am. Good morning, guys. I decided that I should make content that I actually consume. So what I mean by that, I watch a lot of videos like this that I'm making right now where people are externalizing their journey. People are just sharing sort of long form conversations around their business, around what's coming up for them right now and where they're headed. And I was just like, when I make that makes more sense rather than making a really highly polished, beautiful video. So that's what I'm going to do for the rest of this year. Just externalize and be less perfectionist, if that makes sense, over this content. If you're new around here, my name's Niiko. I'm a video creator. I run a small video production company where we create fashion and lifestyle videos for social media, adverts, clients such as Dr. Martens and Zalando, people like this. So something that I wanted to start with is that at the start of this year, I decided that I would start therapy. Whoa, diving straight into that on this one. But yeah, I thought about it, and leading up to this, I had very, very real concerns and feelings that I had or have some form of ADD or ADHD. And turns out it's pretty much true. I spoke to the therapist and I was like, hey, I'm having these problems. And they were like, you pretty much got ADHD, dude. They didn't say it like that. But yeah, it's very prevalent. And after feeling like that is the case, I mean, I kind of knew it for a while that I had some form of ADD. I realized, wow, okay, I want to look into this. And I actually, it was so lovely to speak to my brother more about this. He's also been diagnosed. And we're both like connecting on this level of like, trying to navigate it, because ultimately it's a superpower. This is really the way that I see it. Just to describe it to anybody, I think it's so common these days. Everyone's like, oh, I have ADHD, my ADHD brain. It's like spoken a lot of, but like for anybody who maybe doesn't experience or hasn't really got much of an idea, like imagine getting so into something that anything else outside of that is just not important, and you lose track of sort of time maybe, and you also can feel extremely relieved by this thing. It's essentially, if I'm describing it from what I understand right now, it's like you can have mild obsession and addictive tendencies and these kinds of things. And so this is where I was at last year, getting really into like work and just feeling like that was my escape, and that like really gave me so much like focus, something for my brain to work on. And the thing is with the ADHD brain, according to my therapist, is that you can't switch that off easily. And so the brain has to go from something to something else. Obviously there's ways to manage that and to regulate that better, which is what we'll get into and what I'm excited to get into. But yeah, that is why I would just work like 12-hour days and burn myself out and not really realize that that's what I was doing. And so yeah, going forward, I want to make sure that those things are, being looked at, and I'm being aware of this thing that I live with. And actually, it sounds so bad, but I want to capitalize on the fact that I have such intense focus on things. It's like, how do I put that to its best use, and how do I make a healthy relationship with that? Because towards the end of last year, it was really tough to figure out how I can balance the work, because in the film industry, we're rewarded for being like working so much. And most industries, you're rewarded in the society for working. And then when we're not working, and when I say we, as like people with like perhaps ADHD or these sort of tendencies on the spectrum in some sort of way, it's like we can go quite low and we can feel like a lower dip. And so it's this high and low kind of thing. And I really wanted to just sustain the high. And I think in the film industry, it's really easy to just be like, next project, just trying to sustain that high, that adrenaline, just to like keep you going. And then you just burn the fuck out. So I'm really curious to see how that pans out over the next year. And I'll just keep sharing things on that, things that I discover. I'm going to read Gabor Mate's Scattered Minds, which is a book that he wrote on ADHD. And yeah, and something I've been really loving and getting super, again, addicted to, like into, is just like information products and like online business. Now, I don't know for much of you if you know my backstory, but I was always trying to make YouTube videos and trying to make like a living online on my own terms. I wrote this down when I was like 15. I wrote down, I will get paid for being me. And it's like a super narcissistic thing to say maybe, but I had this very strong instinct from such a young age, maybe 14 even, where I was just like, I will get paid to be who I am, to be as the authentic version of myself, to be showing up as myself, not being into coming to like wearing suit and tie and doing these other things that don't align with me, and always just trying to be me as possible. And I wanted to start and be a YouTuber because of that, because I believed that if I was a YouTuber, I could just make the videos I wanted, when I wanted, wherever I wanted, and then have like, you know, people pay me to do that. And then I realized, oh wait, like if I just do that, I may as well be doing what I'm doing now, which is just being an advertisement, because like ultimately that requires advertisement, and you're just a billboard then. And you require advertisers who are going to pay you, and you're going to be on deadline still. So I was like, how do I create financial freedom first? And then how do I create like time freedom? And what do I mean by that? How do I create a life where I am more in control of my time? And so I looked at the sort of opportunities for all my my superpowers, by which I could double down on and create higher leverage moves this year, because I realized that working hard is really not the answer. I worked my ass off last year, the hardest I've ever worked, and like I look at the amount of money that I have left over, not because I have crazy spending habits, I'm not blowing my money on like Lambos because I can't afford that. I'm not even like blowing my money on like holidays, and I'm just like, oh, it's like not like, obviously it's relative, but like it's just not a lot of money for the amount of work that I put in. And so I'm like, what are the things that can get me this year and higher income with less moves, less work? So that looks like potentially going on to my next point, which is sharing my first info product, which is essentially an externalization. And this is out now. I soft launched it and didn't tell anyone about it. Classic insecurity around wanting to share this stuff. But yeah, I'm sharing it with you now. It's out there. It's essentially a product that is everything that I kind of know, a resource about freelance videography. It's just something that I think, and I wish I would have had 2 years ago. I always wish that someone would just be like, yo, dude, like you just need to do this and this, and then that will lead you to your next step. And I feel like instead of going out and making like a crazy course that no one ever wanted, I've made this thing that's kind of like an MVP, a minimum viable product that I just want people to give me feedback on and just be like, dude, like this, I'd love to know more about this, or I'd love to figure out the nuances behind what you mean with this. And I can just improve and iterate on this product and keep sharing my thoughts on it, because like really it's always just been my passion is like always externalizing things. I remember like you can go back on my YouTube channel, there's like a video I made probably like 4 or 5 years ago where I like learned Premiere Pro shortcuts, like 4 of them, and it was like mind blowing to me. I was like, I have to share this with the world. Like how to ripple delete on Premiere Pro. And I was just like, I gotta do this. And I went and made a tutorial, and like I've always externalized, taken something, synthesize it, and then like try to externalize it. And I mean, that's what I do with filmmaking. That's what I do when I'm writing. I'm always taking concepts and synthesizing them. And I just realized, that's something that I naturally do a lot of. Why don't I make like that, into a more why don't I build that into my life more? And so, yeah, that's what I'm doing with this product. And so I have never launched a paid product. I've launched a bunch of digital stuff before, which is insane. That like 5,000, I've got like 5,000 people downloading a bunch of digital products that are for free. You can actually find them. I'll leave the link in this description for like sounds and sort of things for video creation assets. And I was like, but fuck it, like what's the bigger problem to this? And I was like, well, I didn't know really how to make money with videos before this, so why not I just share that now? So that's my, the way that I'm approaching this year is really, it's a 70% growing the business, which is already existing, and then it's 30% selling sort of my sawdust, they say, quote unquote, the stuff around my business that is just like, to me, it's just like, oh yeah, that makes sense to have, and I can just, that would help someone else, that would help me a year, 2 years ago, the younger version of myself. I'm going to just share that. Speaking of this year and sort of the goal is to, like I said, 70% of my time is going to be just like blasted on the business. I want to grow this business to 250K in top line revenue this year. That will require a certain amount of grit, but also I am happy to say that I've paid for an awesome coaching program. I dropped like 6.5K on this thing to essentially shortcut, or at least get support on my way to making that happen. And that is another point I want to speak on, which is just that you can fucking pay people to earn more money. It's like such a weird but amazing concept for me, because I always knew it, of course, but I didn't have the resources at the time. I just had to figure everything out by books and try and figure out this shit myself. But then I realized, like, now I'm at the point where I can just pay people. And before I was, maybe I just didn't have the right mindset, but I intend on just buying my way to €1 million a year. It sounds so weird, but I think a lot of people underrate that. Obviously, just paying mentors and paying for that guidance, and they just want to figure it out themselves. And I found myself, like, towards the end of last year, I was just like, I don't know, actually, the next steps. I don't have a lot of clarity. I was thinking about, like, considering doing like another coaching and doing another thing, just getting like a business coach. And then I was just like, fuck it, like, let's invest in this one heavily. And yeah, we'll see how it goes. I'll keep you updated with that. But so far, it's been really good. And I'm just paying ultimately for my beliefs to be broken, or like for someone to show me and expand my subconscious mind. Yeah, if you guys are listening to this still, then thank you. I appreciate you. I just want to externalize and share the business things more around filmmaking, and not just be talking about gear and equipment and talking about like people that I want to work with. Like, a lot of people are like, are you a filmmaker? Are you a director? And I'm just like, I fucking love marketing, if that makes sense. Like, I love everything about marketing, like the psychology behind it. I love copywriting. I love writing. I love like website, when you look at websites and like why they're laid out so well, what makes them look so good. I love design. And so when I put those things together, ultimately I'm a marketer, and I am also a filmmaker, and that's the kind of way and the vehicle that I'm using right now is video and content. But I really, ultimately I don't want to just compete and pitch on other people's jobs for directing. It's not a game that I want to play. And I came to that realization towards the end of last year, that is a nice goal, and it's really awesome to make beautiful films, but I'd rather just go out and make a bunch of money and then make the films that I want to do exactly how I want to do them. So that's what my goal would be anyways, even if that comes around. So yeah, for young entrepreneurs and for young creators, this is kind of what this YouTube channel is about. It's not just about filmmaking. It's more about everything that goes on around that. And so yeah, setting these goals. One more thing that I have this year is that I was like, what does niiko 2.0 do? Because I'm 1.0 right now. I'm trying to upgrade to 2.0. How would the 2.0 version of me act right now in this situation? And I keep asking myself this question because I realize that it's the fundamental to manifestation, in which, we're ultimately saying, like, how would the next level version of myself act, and then take aligned action in that way. And because I really wanted like a sauna in my gym. And I was like, because I was going to this gym that's like close to me, and it's great, it's awesome, people are lovely, but it was like, it didn't have a sauna. And I was just like, would niiko 2.0 want a sauna? And what would the benefits be? And it was just like, yeah, that's a very clear yes. Sauna and cold plunge, like, yes. And I paid for another gym that's like close to me still, but still have to drive there now. And it's like a lot more expensive. It's like 110 euros like a month. But I go there and I absolutely rinse it right now to get through like the Berlin winter. And like the sauna also is like so good for me because like it takes me out of my brain and just puts me into my body, which for me, because my thoughts are so like, I have like racing thoughts, my brain's like always, it's working very intensely. It really helps put me in my body and calms me down. And so it's just been like a 5x life upgrade investment, honestly. And so if there's any of you who's just out there, I highly advise saunaing and cold plunging after gym if you're into that kind of stuff. It's really helped my mental clarity and helped my peace of mind, actually, because like it switches off my brain. For those like 30 minutes that I'm jumping in and out, I don't think of much, but it's also like crazy because like it allows so much of this so many subconscious like thoughts that come through while I'm lying down, passing out with my head spinning after the sauna. And it's been very, very lovely. Anyways, check out the product. Go ahead, and it's not too expensive. I've priced it, I think, at like 20, 30 euros. Maybe it's changed when you're seeing this, but just go and check it out if you want to learn a bit more about videos and sort of figure out a bit more of the business financial side of things. And again, not financial advice, but definitely learn a few things along the way. Yeah, have a lovely day, take it easy, and I'll catch you in the next video. Peace.